Let me ask you this: do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are down.
Okay.
We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so like I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm a little pissed off, to be even really honest with you. So I'm a little taken back by the whole thing, but I can tell you this: I take that very serious, and so does he. As a matter of fact, like I don't know anything about him saying shit like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all, and get him interested in the outdoors. Mm-hmm. Like on my phone,
get him away from those video games.
Exactly right. That's the God honest truth. And the picture on my phone is him with blood on his cheeks from shooting his first deer. It was just the greatest day ever. Yeah, so sure. He knows the seriousness of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them. So it's kind of a little bit of a shock. So in whatever y'all are telling him, please instill in him that if this is whatever or wherever this is coming from, it's no joke.
No. Like,
it's no joke.
Well, we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know. And I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit. Okay. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah,
scary. Hey, are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school, and is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there. No. You know, because you never really know, and I don't want anything to happen to him, so... Mm-hmm. Yeah, y'all.
All right, well, if you want to grab them,
yeah, y'all talk.
Or we can go in.
It's all cool. Hang on.
All right, so I'll be honest. I'm torn about this whole thing. Like, on one hand, you've got a father knowingly who gave his 14-year-old son access to a gun, a kid who, by all accounts, showed every red flag in the book that he was dealing with some serious issues. And you're left just thinking, why? How could you let this kid who's been caught up in all kinds of warning signs have access to a firearm? But there's another part of me, and this is where it gets complicated. I know how this is going to be used. I know what's coming. They're going to take the situation and turn it into an example of why parents shouldn't own guns if they have kids. Anti-gun politicians and anti-gun media, they're going to eat this up and push even harder for laws that say if you own a gun and your kid somehow gets their hands on it, it's your fault. Even if that gun is locked up tight in a safe and the kid goes full-on spy mode, cracking the code or breaking it open. But what scares me about this entire case is how it sets a precedent. If we start holding parents criminally responsible for every single thing their child does, where does it stop? Now, don't get me wrong. I know there are shitty parents out there. Some people shouldn't have kids, but that's not every gun-owning parent. I know families where kids have been around guns their whole lives and they grow up to be model citizens, respectful, law-abiding people. But here's the problem. The only time the media talks about parents giving their kids access to guns is when that kid goes off the deep end and commits a horrific crime. So now everybody thinks any parent that gives their kid a gun is reckless. And I know what you're thinking. Colion, aren't you the guy who's always preaching about gun safety and preventing this kind of stuff from happening? Yeah. Absolutely. But that's why I'm so conflicted. Because on one hand, we need to hold people accountable, especially when it's clear they've ignored major warning signs. On the other hand, I can't help but feel like this whole situation is going to be twisted into another attack on gun owners as a whole. And honestly, that's dangerous. It's easy to imagine a future where simply owning a gun and having kids in the same house makes you a criminal in the eyes of some anti-gun politicians and the anti-gun left. Look. The reality is this isn't some simple black and white situation. This is the part where it gets tricky. Sometimes even the best parents in the world can have a kid who just goes off the rails. We've all heard of those stories of kids who had everything going for them, great upbringing, and yet they still went down a dark path. Maybe it's mental health, maybe it's something else, but you can do everything right as a parent and things can still go wrong with your kids. That's why this case worries me so much. Sure, if this father was blatantly irresponsible, then yeah, there should be consequences. But the last thing we need is for this to be used as a justification for more blanket restrictions that hurt responsible parents who take every precaution but still end up in situations like this. But also someone who slipped through every possible crack in the system. There's more blame to go around than just his parents, I would think. Or maybe there isn't. Maybe his father was actually the only person to blame. However you slice it, this case is a tragedy. There's no easy answer here. A lot of people would just focus on the guns, but I think it's deeper than that. I think we've got to take a serious look at how we address mental health issues, the role of parents, and the role of the community. And yeah, sometimes parents do need to be held accountable, but we've got to be careful not to punish every gun owner for the actions of a few. So you tell me, what do you guys think? Should this father be held responsible for his son's actions? Or are we setting a dangerous precedent that will come back to haunt responsible gun owners down the road? Let me know in the comments below. And for the record, my heart goes out to the families of the victims. I can't imagine what they're going through right now, but we have to be careful with how we respond to this because the decisions made here could affect all of us in the long run. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.